This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro Insight for the week of December 28, 2020. Wow. Yes, the end of the year at last. This year on the calendar is the bridge between one year and the next. But don't you feel like in some way 2020 is already ending, already wrapping up? There aren't too many new influences happening this week. Mostly we're experiencing influences playing out that have already been set in motion, and those would primarily be the reset in our life outlook that is growing out of the Sagittarius new moon solar eclipse, and most importantly, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius, which is bringing expanded restriction, new horizons in constriction, a very different sort of holiday season, quite appropriate for a very different sort of year. This week, the skies basically let us marinate, sit in what has happened, sit in what is developing, in the potentials, in the awareness of distances and separations, in technological glitches, technological challenges, in new responsibilities to our friends, to networks, to the collective, to the future. The main events of the week occur as the year is going out. On the 29th or 30th, depending where you are on the planet, there is an uptick in emotionality, an uptick in nostalgia, bittersweet energies, sentimentality, fantasy, probably even more binge watching than we've been going through this holiday season, this entire pandemic, and a terrific amount of emotional stock taking. 2020 ends with us catching up emotionally to everything that has happened. Well, possibly catching up with everything is beyond human capability, but regardless, we have a protracted event of allowing our emotions to simply flow. The final big event of the year is a full moon in Cancer, which has the body that rules our emotions and our relationship to home and family and comfort and nurturing in the home sign. Hyper-sentimentality, hyper-emotionality, making us well aware of who has gone, what has gone, well aware of the way things were in the past, well aware of all of the emotions we have cycled through all year. Odds are pretty much everybody is at home for this full moon, with the moon also at home. It will be hard not to remember the way things were in earlier years. It will be hard not to remember who is not with you now. It will be hard not to romanticize the past. The two rulers of love and inspiration and artistry, Venus and Neptune, are in a square, which is an action-demanding aspect. So relationships, what we value, our social mode, is punching at the cosmic fog machine. The fog might be comforting. It might blanket the reality, in quotes, of what we're really experiencing. It might make us incredibly misty about things that are gone. It could send us off into fantasy land. It could cause us to miss people and situations that we might never have logically thought we would miss. You could be viewing all kinds of people in your life through the eyes of love. And this brings to mind, to me, the very peculiar ending of a now old movie called Places in the Heart, when all of the main characters are in church, including people who have died. And one person is sitting in a pew next to someone who killed him. They're all in God's house together at the end of this film. And that may end up having some kind of weird application or resonance in your own life. This full moon is actually a beautiful opportunity to process a lot of the year, to release, to purge, to dump, to lighten your load before we actually go on into the next page on the calendar. It's an important moment in prepping for going through or going out of the stargate or the portal that we have been existing in for a few days now. Before that closes behind us all, it's appropriate to have a time of remembrance and honoring what you're leaving behind, what is not going along with you. And some of that might be sorrow and disillusionment and disappointment. It has, not to put too fine a point on it, been a hell of a year. And a lot of us have just been soldiering on because we can. This week, the skies are weirdly giving us a break. No new elements being introduced. Use it to allow yourself to experience what you've been keeping at bay. And if you end up crawling into the bathtub and crying like a baby for a while, odds are really good you're going to feel a lot better afterwards. And if you find yourself eating your food with your fingers like you're a 4-year-old, so what? It's the appropriate thing to do now. The only other big astrological event occurs when we get on the other side of the calendar. 2021 greets us with the opportunity to proceed with love, with compassion, with inspiration, with spiritual guidance. Now, for some people, this could also mean incredible escapism, deciding that you're going to drink your way into the year. But given what we've been through, treading lightly, treading softly, and opening your heart might just be the healthiest way and the most helpful way to ring in 2021 and its very different possibilities. We're building a new construct. Walk in with your heart soft and open to give that the best possible chance of being sturdy and developing in a positive way. Walk in with your heart soft and open. Homing thought of the week: there's no place like home. Song of the week, I have 2, Auld Lang Syne and Dan Fogelberg's Same Auld Lang Syne. And the image of the week, I have 2, walking down a corridor that starts out with wooden floors and incandescent and fluorescent lighting, and imperceptibly at some point, the floors and the walls give way to stainless steel, and the incandescent and fluorescent lighting becomes LED. And the second image is the 5 of Cups from the tarot. A hooded figure bent over, crying over 3 spilt cups. 2 remain behind the figure, and when the figure turns around, he or she will see them. Learn a lot more about this in my forecast for the Cancer full moon, which is already posted at my site, and in my talk about the December 2020 solstice and 2021 overview which is available at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and get my Jupiter in Aquarius guide as a download, and I thank you, and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I oversee lively conversation on Facebook at Empowerment Unlimited and the group, the Astro Insight Lounge. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who are supporting my work there. I post on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian Channel. And I wish everyone a so much better, happier new year. Talk to you next week. Talk to you next year.